The information shared on CNS Unfiltered is for educational purposes only and is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Always consult your healthcare provider before making any health or lifestyle changes. The views shared are those of guests and do not necessarily reflect those of Innate Clinical Nutrition or its affiliates. This episode includes affiliate links, which help support the show. Hello and welcome. I am Jena Salisbury, and this is CNS Unfiltered, a show where clinical nutrition specialists uncover what traditional medicine overlooks. If you've been listening to us from the start, you know at this point that food is deeply personal. It's one of the first acts of life for all of us, and yet the way we individually connect to, engage with, speak about, and think about food is vastly different for each of us. Who taught you how to eat? I think this question is so interesting because it's not something we really think about. But really, who taught you how to eat? Who taught you the rules, structures, routines, and stories around food? Did you grow up in a household that saw all food as equal, no matter the ingredients? Did you grow up in a household that restricted food as a means of achieving thinness? Did you or a family member grow up with a chronic illness and literally had to restrict food to stay well? Was your food knowledge shaped by access or lack of to food? Or was it shaped by what you saw on TV or in commercials or even those magazines? For a lot of people on a healing journey, whether it's from something like a chronic illness or serious disease, or they're just looking to be healthier inside and out, unpacking their food knowledge, their personal experiences and lessons around food that have shaped how they eat and why is a crucial part of the process. And most of the time, it's not easy. A lot of us may look back at the history and realize that maybe we've absorbed a lot of misinformation or even a disordered way of eating. A lot of us have to start over and think about who we want to be now, what story we want to tell in this phase of our lives, and how our food is going to play a part in that story. We don't have to go through this journey alone. Nutrition coaches like Eric Johnson, our guest today, help clients identify their health objectives and use food to find solutions. Eric does this work from a place of genuine love and care for people and their stories. He radiates warmth and compassion. You'll feel it in our interview. I know it. He wants to know his clients, know their values and struggles, walk with them, sometimes literally, on their journey towards healing, and help them optimize their health through food. Today, I'll talk with CNS Eric about his company, NX Health Solutions, and Eric will walk me through a case study of one of his clients, a teacher who was ready to focus on herself. We'll learn about how Eric empowers her to transform her own health so she can continue to do the selfless and loving work as an educator. Stay tuned. Hello, welcome. Today we have Eric Johnson. So excited to have you. Welcome to CNS Unfiltered.
Thank you. Thank you.
Eric Johnson has a background in bachelor's in exercise science, going into health and nutrition for master's, and now pursuing his PhD in nutrition. And just getting to talk with him a little bit before the show. I am so excited for this conversation. You know, it's a lot on repeat, but it's our passion. And it is really what is that foundation. So hearing it through the different eyes and really getting to have different perspectives is what this podcast is all about. So thank you for joining to share your passion and your insights and your practice with us.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Like I said, I really love what you're doing. I know we're touching a lot of hearts, and hopefully, the conversation that we have today encourages people to get started or pick back up where they left off.
Awesome. I love that, and I hope so too, right? Like, that's what it is just sharing the love and seeing where everybody's at to take what you need and to leave what maybe doesn't align right now. Eric, would you please tell our audience about you? Share us your story. How did you get to where you are and where are you?
Well, so I'm going to start with my passion. If you asked little kid Eric or teenage Eric what he'd be doing or what he wanted to do with his life, he would have told you he was going to the NBA. I played basketball for a really long time since I was 4, and it was really through that avenue where I realized that I wanted to help people because I knew I wanted to stay on the court for as long as I could, right? So that's why I studied the science behind exercise because I wanted to safeguard my body. And at a time, I thought that I wanted to get into physical therapy, but after I shadowed and asked a lot of questions and just experienced it, I realized that this wasn't quite where I wanted to be as far as hands-on because I love people and I love interacting with them. I don't want it to be just for a couple of minutes, and I don't want, um, you know, someone else that's doing it because I like to hear people's story. I like to engage with them in that aspect. So naturally, I shifted into the nutrition world, just finding out that food is our center. Food is our fuel. Food helps our mind, our body, and everything in between. So I made it here just in wanting to help people, wanting to take care of myself, and finding things out along the way that just I could not dive into.
Yeah, been there for sure. It's just fascinating. And the thing about knowledge is that you can't go back. You you can't pretend you don't know it. And then when you see such an outcome or alignment or the aha moment that you get to like feel, oh, that's so cool. It's everything.
Yes.
So you are the owner of NX Health Solutions from San Antonio, Texas. Tell us a little bit about your company and who it services.
All right. So this company was born in my college apartment on a Friday night, and I just wanted to give something to people where it was like a one stop shop because I remember just thinking about people, because I spent a lot of time just thinking about people, the whys and stuff like that. And I was wondering, why someone couldn't go into one facility and get all the help that they need. They have to essentially drive around the whole city, the whole metroplex for them to get the care that they need because they'll get referred. And I'm just thinking like, I want to love on someone and help them along their journey in one spot. And so that way it was the sort of delusional thinking in the beginning because I was like, I'm going to go out, I'm going to get a facility and we're going to have personal trainers, we're going to have therapists, we're going to have the nutritionists, dietitians, we're going to have it all under one roof. And I've since then dialed back and started hands-on training and coaching people, nutrition, health, wellness, in an online setting, in person. And really, we don't have any products. What we have is transformation. We have coaching because everyone in this world has a mentor. Everyone in this world has a coach. And believe it or not, we're being told and guided um, towards the things that we want and the things that we need to do each and every day. And so I think that's one of the biggest parts that makes me super excited in what I'm doing every day, just giving to people. And so NX Health actually stands for nutrition prescription because, you have your RX, that's your pharmaceutical prescription. The NX actually means nutrition prescription, nutraceuticals, which is food is medicine. And so that's what it's deeply rooted in, no pun intended. And that's how I serve, and that's how I plan to continue serving people.
Wonderful. And so I'm understanding that your company doesn't really have like the supplements or you don't do a lot of the functional modalities. You really focus on the coaching aspect in using food first approach and just gain a little sense of you. I'm assuming that your coaching goes a little bit beyond food, of just connecting to your
Yeah.
to your client, right? Whether that's emotional or mental or spiritual. I can kind of see you filling in all those gaps. Is that what you mean by a one-stop shop?
Yes, a one-stop shop in the sense of we need to eat every day. So that could look like us providing a whole meal plan for you. That could look like a call where you're like, okay, you know what? I'm ready. Let's do this. And we're doing whole pantry cleanouts. We're doing whole refrigerator cleanouts. Really just serving the people and what they need, because knowledge is indeed power.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, a lot of this stuff we've missed out on. But that's okay, because I want to be able to provide that, and I know that there are many other people that want to provide that, and so that's kind of what we do in a nutshell. Just giving people the power of their health, putting it back in their hands.
Amen. Right?
Yeah,
That's that's the name of the game. That's why I'm here too. Give it back. And food is something we get to control. My brain spirals into all the other aspects of food we don't control, right? But as far as
right,
our choices and how we get to think about it and how we get to take care of ourselves with food is so unbelievably powerful, aligning the mind, body, and soul with it. And I think that's where, and please don't correct me if I'm wrong, like that's where your transformations come from with your client, right? Tell us about
correct.
that transformation. Like, what do you see? What works?
Well, first, it's I don't really even like taking credit, because it's not me. It's the individual. It's their body that is doing what we're doing is we're just putting them in the right environment, the right space to do so. And so a lot of what we see is, first there is a little drawback, a little pushback. Why are we doing this? What sense does that make? I found this here, I found this there, and you have to, when you are consulting or you're coaching, you have to take a step back and you have to really love the individual and let them know, you know, when you're here for a reason. You sought out this assistance, this help. Unfortunately, what you've been doing has not been working, and so you're gonna get a little bit uncomfortable, right? Once you get uncomfortable and you get past that wall, that's when we see the person that was just super dull. They just begin to start floating and just exploring everything. Their skin clears up, right? They are trying new things, right? These once food ingredients, the real food, as I like to call it, that people claim that they didn't know what to do with. Now they're experimenting with that food, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it all really starts with that period. It's like a period. It's hard to put because everyone is different, but it's like a period where they're like, this is so different from what I'm used to. There is a lot of love behind food. There's a lot of tradition behind food. And, once they let some of those things go and they open the door to new things, that's when it all changes. I mean, everything from weight loss, skin's glowing. You'll see the skin clear up. They'll talk about how, their stomach aches go away, no more migraines. It's amazing to see, really. And honestly, I got started in this world when I was 18. And, that then it was just books. It was just content matter.
Mm-hmm.
I was understanding, okay, I know this from my schooling, right? But once I got that hands on and I got to see it for myself, the change that people go through, it was just unbelievable. And I love watching it every chance I get.
It really makes me think like the part that you're able to tap into and hold space for is literally the part of identity
Mhm.
in my perspective, right? Like when you were talking, I feel like we get a lot of our identity from our food, from our culture, from the way we grieve, from the way we celebrate, right? Like our food is, like you said, we have to do it every day. It's so intertwined with who we are. And sometimes because how the body works is going to put everything on autopilot, right?
Right.
So sometimes or not sometimes, always getting out of autopilot, that's uncomfort. Like, ooh, I gotta try different things. But that's, as you're saying, like that whole identity can open up. And with your type of coaching that you address it all and that you approach it with just a safe space and love, oh, that is magic. That is where transformations take place.
That's right.
So we are going to jump into a case study because I'm super excited to see your process. And in your practice, is there a certain clientele, a certain kind of niche of people that you end up drawing in? And how does that transform? Like, take us through that experience.
First things first, I would love to help every single person that inquires, every single person that comments on content, every single person that I come across in the grocery store. I mean, that's how deeply rooted I am to the community. Like I could be at the grocery store shopping and I'll look over at somebody and I say, "Hey, did you know that this is good for this?" And so while I wish I could help them, I unfortunately can't. But that's mainly why I'm here is to, expand my reach. But I find myself gravitating towards teachers. I have a love and appreciation for our educators. They work really hard. And unfortunately, they don't get to take care of their health as much as they could sometimes. So I'm gravitating towards teachers and busy professionals. A lot of these individuals are working at a desk and they have high work demands and they are strong mentally. They will almost act like a cat. A cat will not let you know most of the time when it's going through something, health wise. It just kind of powers through it. And, these individuals, the busy professionals, uh, the athletes, of course, I was once an athlete, they keep going and they aren't taking that time to, reassess, check in with themselves. And so that's really the sweet spot because I love once it clicks and we kind of just continue and they realize that it doesn't need to be separate. It can be just a lifestyle. It doesn't have to be a chore. It can be a lifestyle. So that's really what the clientele that I love to work with. And every so often someone will inquire and, they'll come in, when we're having a group call or something like that. And they're like, well, sure, there's a lot of teachers and, sure, there's a lot of, people along that association. So that's usually the clientele that I work with.
That is awesome. That is awesome. And they need you, right? It's like the educators need education, just like the doctors still need doctoring, just like us still need to be checked on nutrition sometimes. Like that is legit. And especially for the teachers, my heart breaks for them too, or goes out to them. I won't say breaks for them, but definitely goes out for them because I know if a teacher ends up in a chair with me, right, for a consult, ooh, their immune system, their adrenals, the sleep, the whole 9 yards. And then even trying to make those adjustments, like, well, I can't leave my class to even use the restroom. So we're gonna have to figure out this water.
Right.
Like, totally understand. This is a wonderful population to support. Is this also the population of the case study that you'll be leading us through today?
Yes. Yes.
Awesome. Let's hear it.
Alrighty. Um, this was let's see, I'm trying to think of her age. It was a female. And let's see, she was around 5'5" or so, about average height. And just a little bit of everything she was going through. She had PCOS. Um, she had really bad migraines. Um, her extremities would swell. Her ankles would swell. Um, let's see, hands would swell. Bad acne. What else? Super oily hair. She was overweight. There was a concern. I remember We got her BMI. We got her BMI, and we got her adipose percentage. And she was just a busy professional. And so first, I just sat her down and just let her talk, just about her goals. What do you want to get out of this? Um, what could serve you? And so the way that I like to do this is when I'm coaching people in person, I think it gets really nerve wracking for someone to come down into like an office setting, right? So I don't have an office, I don't have a facility, right? So I'll meet at locations like libraries, I'll go to their schools, their job, their homes. But for this one, when we're having this consultation, guess what we were doing?
Hmm.
We were walking. We were walking.
Nice.
Imagine if your provider, your healthcare professional, your doctor took a walk with you. Just think how much more that they would share and how much more they could recollect while they're walking and how de-stressed they could be in that environment. So we're walking and I'm taking note. And, she goes to telling me about all the things that she wants to accomplish. And I encouraged her, you said it today. I want you to continue to say it, in all of our conversations, not for, need to remember or anything like that, or, because I'm trying to keep it fresh in my memory, but for you, right? So I had that social, emotional learning aspect, the repetition aspect, and you're saying it over and over again. So it has something has to budge, right? And so from there, I got her information, had some stuff to go off of. Did not get a chance to get blood work or any type of labs, just kind of went surface level, which was okay. And so I made a plan. I made a plan. And so when you're making these really tough jumps, you have to start small and you kind of have to almost gamify it. So I did something just super simple. So I challenged her to get in uh, 2,000 extra steps a day, 3,000 extra steps a day. And I gamified it, right? So that walk, that initial thing that we did, taking a walk, okay, now I have invited her coworkers to start walking with her, right? So now she's not alone and she's doing the walk and we've turned it into a thing, right? And so I would say after about a month or so, then that's when I amped it up and I started to get into the nutrition because it's overwhelming. It's really overwhelming when someone is wanting to make the change or they get some bad news and they know they need to make a change and they get this whole just spew of like, this is what you do. And they don't have time to like think it through and understand things. So I let it sink in of a new lifestyle of the possibilities of the things that what we could do for a couple of weeks to a month. And then we moved on. And then that's when the nutrition coaching and education came in. And so we got to talking about everything. What could be causing this? We got into a lot of root causes and, what are you feeling? How's your digestion? How's your stomach feel in the morning when you wake up? When's the last time that you eat something? Like, what's the time of your last meal, right? Because those are very important things. Because if you're a busy professional, a lot of times you're eating when you can, and they're super big meals. They're not little meals. They're just like, scarf this down. I got to get back to where I got to go. And I know I'm not going to eat for a while. My partner or my team says I need to eat. I'm just going to eat. And a lot of times they are kind of getting in the way of what their body needs to do naturally. They're waking up tired because their body has spent all night almost digesting that food. And so that whole thing. And so it was just kind of little mini challenges. I started off with a simple Google form and I had been developing my website and my application and I got to try that with them as well. But a simple Google form and just taking data. Did you meet your goal today? Did you try a new thing today? Did you have fruits and vegetables? Um, because as we know, those are the prebiotics or the probiotics. A lot of gut things can be taken care of or held at bay, once we are feeding our biome. And so from that form, the form eventually graduated into, all right, let's start sharing food. I want to see how you eat, what you eat, where you eat. So I think we ate together. We shared a meal a couple of times. Um, we started doing like little mini potlucks and, exposing her to different flavors and, just kind of step and trying things. I am a part of I don't even know what you call it, but a very pro real whole food, plant based, vegan. I love that, and I feel that that is very helpful. Not anti meat, not anti animal products, because you see some of the blue zones in the world, they will eat that food, but I really think it's for flavor. I don't think it's for how we eat in America. It's really for flavor. You'll see that their consumption is way lower. But anyways, not to get on a tangent. So we got to the meal part, and after the meal part, uh, we just, I just kind of let it sit. Again, you have to allow time for them to grow into what they're doing. So I just kind of let it sit and just, kind of cheer on and stuff like that. Kept up with her. I didn't introduce anything new for a while, just because you have to allow for people to grow into their new wardrobe, essentially. Because, when someone's cleaning out their clothes, they're going to want to kind of hang on to their old life. So for her case particular, it was dairy, cheese, and milk. Um, that was one of the last things that she held on to, understandably, for what it does to the brain. Um, it wasn't more so getting rid of all of it. It was trying to figure out what would be best for her. And she came to the conclusion herself. It wasn't me that pushed this onto her. She came to the conclusion herself that, you know what, I probably just shouldn't. So she cut out a lot of things, right? But that was from the education. And so after we started, trying things and that little period of her growing into it, then that's when I really started touching on ultra processed foods. Okay. When we start talking about ultra processed foods and the right type of snack, because when you're in that space, you're relying a lot on snacks too, if you're not having like your meal for you. And so, um, once those ultra processed foods were cut out, then we had to educate on uh, the macros and the micros, and you know, you need them all. And this is not a diet. This is a lifestyle, and kind of training in diet what you now know it to be and diet what you thought it was. Really emphasizing that diet is what you eat to nourish your body, and it's not a challenge. It's not a game. It's not super ultra restriction to where you're just having one thing. Everyone works differently, but really emphasizing that diet is what you're going to eat to nourish your body. And then, so we are about, let's see, we're about 5 or months so down the road. That's when like the master plan just has come along, because we figured out what works and what doesn't work. And then that's when the master plan happens, where it is, hey, you're going to eat this. You're looking for this at the grocery store. Um, you now know how to pick your snacks. You now know how to make your plate. And you understand that you have hunger cues. A growling stomach does not mean that you have to eat food. That just means that you are digesting your food. You're understanding these hunger cues, and you're not starving yourself. You're eating to nourish your body and to fuel your body. You're not eating for fun, right? So you now understand all of those cues, and you understand, what you're supposed to be at. You have went and you've gotten your checkup to make sure that this change isn't drastic to where it's like, hey, you are missing some things that you need to be getting. Um, no, like everything everything really went how it was supposed to, but it required that buy-in time. And I think a lot of people, when they are training people, they just try to give it all at once. But that time to think about it, that time for it to marinate was super key. And I love to do that with everybody so they can have time to really explore and experiment. And so on came with the challenges. Okay, so now we are trying things like, can you go 2 days without junk food? 3 days without junk food, meatless Mondays, just getting really um, creative with the things that we're doing to just foster that healthy lifestyle. Now, this little walk that we were doing, maybe it was around the school. Now, she's out in nature and she's grounding and she's walking barefoot on the earth. And now she's walking in nature preserves and, asking other people, hey, would you like to try this? And now she is sharing with other people what she's doing. And it's just this whole world. I mean, you see her just light up, uh, her face clears up. You see her demeanor just change. She's more optimistic. She's more happy. She's just like floating like an angel when you see her. And, everything just clicks like that. But it took time. It took time, and it takes going back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
As I say that because health, nutrition, wellness, it's not a one size fit all. It's not. So oftentimes places and supplements, and again, I'm not anti supplements just because I don't use them. Um, they are for the average person. There's a person in mind. And so I really want to go back to the clothes analogy that I touched on before, cleaning the closet. The approach that I have for people is when you're cleaning out your wardrobe and you're trying on new things, it's going to take some time. You don't just have a whole new closet overnight. You're going to try a shirt and some shoes and some socks and a different pair of pants. But you have to learn what style fits best for you. And your outfit can't be the same as someone else's outfit. It's always going to be a different size. It's always going to be a different color. It may look similar, but it's
Hmm.
tailored towards you. And so that's the approach that I use. And I just continue to replicate it over and over and over again, just really listening to the person and what they are experiencing and partnering. Oftentimes, people are afraid to ask for help. I'm not afraid to ask for help in partnership. I think just playing sports professionally in college, it helps you kind of work through teams a lot because I could speak on that. Just asking, hey, what does this work and what does this help, and being in contact with people and getting differing views and opinions. It really helps because we all have the same goal, and that's to survive. And
Yeah.
we want to survive, and we want to enjoy the time while we're surviving.
Honestly, I think there are so many take homes from what you just shared. Just to kind of highlight a few that I took away was, there is really no replacement on time. Like nothing can replace time. No test, no supplement, no nothing. And on top of that, nothing replaces meeting somebody exactly where they're at. And you showcase that beautifully, meeting her where she at. She needs someone to walk with her to get her started, get that momentum, right? Like she needs someone to kind of show her different flavors and options and let her know, like, ooh, this food that has nothing that I thought I ever liked actually tastes really good. I might be able to do this. And now I have recipes to take home. Just being present, right? And how how transformative that is and how that is the foundational piece of what we do as nutritionists, right? Yes, food first, but for them to even listen to you on how to change your food and to be consistent, especially when it's so hard and I don't even know what parsley is, whatever that is. So that moves mountains and builds that confidence. And I can change my identity to be a person that walks this many steps and eats this kind of food. And that is beautiful. And thank you for showing up like that. I know, like, especially the post COVID world, like, we're not even in an office no more.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't been in an office now in like 7 years or something, right? Like, my home is my office. And in times I don't miss it one little bit. But in other times, for the times like you're talking now, like, man, if I wasn't 4 states away, like, I would be showing up for you right now. Like, we would be doing this. We would be going to the farmer's market. And because there is such a need for that. And I think now more than even ever before. And that's going to continue to be a tool in the spotlight. I think that's going to be growing in health as we even move forward. Do you know if she had seen the physicians, like if she was seeing traditional medicine about the acne and the PCOS and the swelling? Like, did she try some things and be like, you know what? Traditional medicine isn't helping. And I'm going to go, take matters into my own hands now and go see Eric and a nutritionist.
Yeah, she was. She would, kind of, she'd go and she'd have her appointments and we'd talk about it. And I always wanted to keep the door open. I never wanted to influence her and make her feel like, she just has to give up. But I feel like there is really just not a lot of time, because she'd come back and she'd say like, well, they gave me this little pamphlet or, they told me that I need to do this or uh, fruits can really mess with my blood sugar. They're talking about sugar and there I just felt like there wasn't a lot of time in the education because you can tell somebody something, but do they understand it? Are they going to know what it is that you're telling them in that amount of time? So while I don't necessarily feel like the system failed her, I felt like there could have been more thorough attempts into making sure that she knew that she understood uh, the objective and that she understood what she needed to do. But unfortunately, she was not able to have those conversations that we were having in nutrition and the food. Um, Her goal was to get off of her medication.
Okay.
I do not remember the name, but I remember she was telling me about it and I looked it up and I was like, my goodness, you were taking this. And, there was a lot of things that she couldn't do or she couldn't have. And it was just a gradual transformation. There was one time where she was discouraged and what was she discouraged in? She was discouraged in cutting out her dairy completely. She didn't have a
Mm.
dermatologist, but she was really trying to figure out, the root cause behind, her skin and figuring out why she was having these breakouts. And that's when we had these discussions. From what I believe that, and the content matter that I know that our skin is almost a beaming image of our gut. And
Yep.
so I felt like there were things to try without, because, so here's the thing, there is little to no harm in adding things. The approach was add. And okay, once you've added all these things, that's when it was time to delete things. I don't like the approach of you need to stop doing this because that can put the body in a shock state. I
I
didn't
love that you're hitting on
did,
this. Go.
did not
Yes.
talk about that. I realized I didn't talk about that, but it was adding a lot because fruits and vegetables and one ingredient foods are not going to harm you. You're eating these things, they're live, they're living. These aren't going to harm you. These simple, real foods, one ingredient foods, they're not going to harm you. But your body has latched on to this way of eating and being. And so if one person were to just cold turkey, just stop and then go over it, well, that's why we're seeing all of this documentation on people having health concerns, um, events, because there is a withdrawal period. I didn't talk about that because it's not so glamorous, but there is a withdrawal period. But you can add as much as you want. Okay, you've added all this stuff. After you've added all this stuff, then you slowly start taking away the things because you've added in all this new greatness to it. And so I think that was definitely very important as well.
Yeah, thanks for touching on that too. Some more beautiful highlights of just like the legit progression of what's happening when you're coaching and helping someone through an identity shift or a transformation, or because that's essentially how I'm picking it up of what's happening, right? We got to label patterns and label thought processing, and we got to grow into a different state of being pretty much.
Yeah.
What would you say was the turning point for this client?
I would say the turning point would be when I basically, once she realized that her old life was not something that she had to keep living because it was, I would say about a month or so, it was just a couple of weeks once she realized there's a spike in energy. Oh, my stomach it feels great, not to get super graphic, but I'm able to go to the bathroom now. Like, I'm going and it's not a struggle. Once she realized that it's possible, I mean, people, you really just have to feel it. They have to feel it and they have to go through it.
Yeah.
That changed everything. And she bought in and she's like, okay, come on, let's do it. It was the difference between let me research it. Let me make sure that this is okay for me to do, because oftentimes people, they're not doing that when it's like a negative thing that they're doing. Say they're like partying or, they're um, experimenting with recreational drugs. They're not like, oh, let me check and make sure this is safe for me. It's really when we're about to make a super pivotal life change and we're changing our health, that's when they're a little hesitant. But I would say that would be the changing, the climax, the turning point is when she felt it and she was like, whoa, I don't have to live the life that I was once living. I feel great right now. And so that was again, pun intended, the carrot that I dangled because I was like, you never have to feel that way again.
Yeah. Keep stacking, keep moving. Don't look back. I love it. And I think you touched on another, just important piece in transformation. Like the goal is education, right? That's literally what we have to give is education and to hold space. But the true pivotal point, it needs to come from within. Just like when we first got on and we're like, I just really hope that someone can see this and it starts their day. I've said, yes, I can do it. That was the inspiration, right? And it could be a tiny reel or just a meme or something, but um, that catalyst could be really tiny, but it has to spark within them. It's like we lay the foundation, we give the space, and it takes months, right? Let it simmer, plant those seeds, because it's really not going to be from anything we do or say. It's going to come from within when they hit that alignment and they see it. Yeah, it's powerful. It's wonderful.
We have so much information in our hands right now. We have AI, you could type in anything and it was very funny. A friend in my life called Chad GPT, and she was like, "Yeah, Chad can do all this stuff." I was like, "Who's Chad?" But so Chat GPT, Gemini, they can give you instant answers. right? But what are you going to do with that information? What are you going to do with that study that you see that says, hey, you definitely can do this. You definitely can set down these ultra processed foods. You definitely can cook more of your meals, or you definitely can show those mom and pop shops some love, where they have simple ingredients and you can see them cooking. Like that is, I personally cook all my meals, all my snacks, but I really love going to restaurants that are forward moving and thinking like that, to where it's open. You can see everything in the back. You can see that they're cooking the food and how they're preparing it, and it doesn't look like a factory back there. It looks like a kitchen.
Looks like love,
It
right?
looks like it doesn't look really industrial. There's no conveyor belts, or that's a discussion for another time. But these are just some really uh, true things uh, that are starting to happen and that could happen, but it starts with you, really.
Does. This has been such a wonderful conversation with so many take homes. What would be something that you would actually want to debunk? A myth.
I would personally like to just debunk a lot of nutritional um, myths behind changing your diet. A lot there's a lot of different diets out there. You got the vegan diet, paleo. Um, there's Ital, which that's a lifestyle. Um, you're hearing things about protein and things like that, but you have to come to realize that your body works for you, and it was able to survive, you know, when you were treating it bad. But I would like to debunk the myth of, I mean, there's so much going on, like low carb, low fat. Um, when it comes down to it, everybody has a unique amount of nutrients that they're supposed to get for their body, for their computing range, for their metabolism, for the energy that they're putting in every day, right? We know that we need protein, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be meat all the time. We know that we need carbs. We know that we need fats, and we know that we need minerals and vitamins. All those things make up the nourishment of our body. And so we have to be very careful of the things that we consume, because it's our direct energy source. So we have to be intentional with the things that we eat. And if we are consuming things that are low, or we're consuming things that have these health claims on it, that means we're missing out on something else that we were what's supposed to be having. So I really just want to debunk that, in the sense of, do your research, no, figure out, team up with people like you and I, find your answers, because they're going to be different from somebody else's answers.
So, what I hear, the myth that you would like to debunk is that there's a blanketed approach that is going to work for everybody, and that you really just got
Correct.
to dig in, work with somebody, and understand you as an individual, what your body needs for your energy expert
Correct.
for. I know I said that word wrong. Oh, for your energy
It's okay.
expression. And
Uh-huh. Right.
so is that what I hear us debunking?
Yes.
Yeah, 1,000% precision nutrition, because we are all
Mhm.
different, and the energy
Mhm.
expenditure, right? Whether because you work with
Right.
athletes and busy professionals and, teachers that even need in my opinion, need to love on their immune system, which requires usually more nutrients for this clientele, right? Definitely not less. Definitely not starting with depleting before building.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
with you. Well, Eric, this has been such a beautiful conversation. I've truly enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. I enjoyed it.
If anyone is out there saying, you know what? I need Eric's style. I'm in San Antonio, or I will fly there to get this type of coaching, because I really feel it's super unique personally, myself too.
Appreciate it.
How would someone get a hold of you? What would they do? What does that process look like?
I have super streamlined the process. I have a website. It's nxhealthsolutions.org. or they can reach me on YouTube. And YouTube's super simple, Coach J period 58. And that's where I love to just love on people, give them just golden content every chance I get. It needs to be accessible. So those are the ways that people can get into contact with me, inquire. And yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Eric.
Thank you, Eric, for sharing your love and care for your clients and for this work with me. Thanks to our listeners for tuning in today for this episode of CNS Unfiltered. Shout out to our teachers. We love and appreciate how much you show up every day in an exhausting and often thankless profession for our youth. If you're a teacher or any other busy professional, take care of yourself this week. You can and should prioritize yourself, regardless of what other people say. No job is worth your entire physical and emotional health. If you're interested in working with Eric, go to nxhealthsolutions.org. For more information, check out his YouTube channel at CoachJ.58. If you're interested in working with me, check out innateclinicalnutrition.com to schedule a free phone call. If you're a future or current CNS or functional medicine practitioner, medical professional, or functional medicine patient, we want to hear from you. If you have questions, comments, or success stories, send them to our email at cnsunfiltered@gmail.com for a chance to be featured on a future episode. If you're a clinical nutritionist or other functional medicine practitioner and you're interested in being interviewed, click in the show notes. Be sure to subscribe wherever you're listening and follow at Innate Clinical Nutrition so you don't miss a new episode, and share this with a client or classmate who might need to hear it. Once again, I'm Jena Salisbury, and remember to listen to your gut.